stage. I didn't get to do that tonight. When does this start? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm originally from Alaska, moved to Michigan in 3rd grade, then I moved back to Alaska, then to Michigan, then to Alaska, then to Michigan, then to Alaska, then to Michigan, all the way until I was 24. So I went back and forth like 9 times or something. Not exactly sure. But I'm here to talk about a studio that I'm starting with some people in Grand Rapids called Snow Monster Studios. And the reason that we want to do Grand Rapids is over time I guess I started liking Grand Rapids. I loved Alaska, but Grand Rapids seemed to have this cultural, we want to do art, and you can kind of make it on your own. But since then, since I was born, some stuff's happened in America. And, I wrote this stuff on cards, but I'm not even using them. Because I didn't even know what I was supposed to. I thought I was going to get to click, but I don't get to click. So I'm just kind of running the clock out until the next slide happens so I can tell you what's dark that happened. Okay, so here it is. We were doing some research about the studio. We found since 1980, education has gone up 944%, the GDP 500%, top earners 280%, cost of living 265%, productivity 82%, college faculty 70%. That's their pay. I wanted to show, education cost, faculty pay. Okay, but since then, if you put it along productivity, average earners actually gone down 72%, while education has gone up 862%, and cost of living has gone up 183%. And this is kind of the basis of the studio that we're starting. We want it to be this ethical studio where you can actually make money. There we go. So the concept is, imagine you're a young little pink person, and you want to go to college, but it's too expensive because you don't want to get $100,000 in debt to work at, a restaurant. Joking. You have a crappy job where you're spinning a sign or something like that. You work tons of hours to live in a crappy apartment. But what if you had a nice apartment that you could afford on a part-time job that had access to, all the studio equipment you could want, a greenhouse if you're weird like that and want to grow your own food, and classes, so you can learn how to do stuff like special effects, which is what I do, special effects and music videos, and I make average money. So here's the concept. Here's the concept for the studio. Is kind of this green structure that has apartments on the top, and then workspace on the bottom, and then a greenhouse on the top because it's trendy. And then in this winter here, you can go in there and pretend it's summer. So inside you would have private offices, open offices, an audio room for voiceovers, or if you're in a band or something weird like that. Possibly a storefront, because certain districts here you have to have a storefront, and then a sound stage. And the idea is if you live in these apartments, you also get access to all this, and you can afford the apartments on a part-time job. So the apartments, the concept is we'd have these 4-bedroom apartments that are 2 stories, so you save on material. And so you'd have a private bathroom in each bedroom, so it's kind of like you have your own mini studio apartment. And then you have a shared kitchen and living room. But then since this is for creatives, who are generally people who don't like to be around people, you get to stay in your room. So one of the big things we want to do is profit-sharing movies. And being someone that's worked in Hollywood and having lots of friends who've worked in Hollywood, they're pretty unethical. All the money goes to the top. Everyone works really hard at the bottom and gets paid not very good. And so we want a system where if a movie does good, everybody can do good and make enough money to live, and not, in Hollywood you can't live off $15 an hour, but that's what people make. I made $100,000 a year and I was living paycheck to paycheck. Cool, huh? So cost of living, we want to fix that and make it a little more, where a worker is paid for being productive. So the way we get there, this is me a couple years ago. When I was learning to drive up in Alaska, my mom told me to stay on the road, to just look way down the road and stay straight. So that's the concept behind this picture here, is I'm going to stay straight. And I'm not going to do commercials and stuff like that, because this is for entertainment media for Grand Rapids. So what we have to have is proof of concepts to prove that we can do this. So I started putting together a short, which will pop up any second within 20 seconds now. I didn't prepare. There we go. So it's about the Snow Monster Studio, Snow Monster. He wants to make some friends. He sees a little bird jumping around, so he pops out of the tree, sees the bird, and then the bird sees him, and the next slide happens, but I don't have a clicker because I didn't know. Okay, he waves, and then the bird flies away because the bird's a jerk, and that's how most animals are, especially cats. Cats are jerks. Get a dog. I have 2 dogs. They're way better. And what dogs will do for you is they'll be your friend, and they won't scratch you in the eyes when you're sleeping. Okay, so he gets sad. He wants to make friends. He finally, all the animals keep turning him down, so he goes to lean against a tree. He leans on the tree falls over. And a quick insert, the reason we're doing this concept is so that we can show that this kind of stuff can be done in Grand Rapids. And this is just a test draft we put in our prize. So then he sees that there's a tree house at the other end of the tree, goes to investigate, little Eskimo girl pops out, scares the crap out of him, and he runs away. Kind of a full circle, if you ever went to school, you ran into a tree at some point. I didn't, because I was cool. Actually, I wasn't that cool until I switched to Byron Center. I went from East Kentwood to Byron Center, and they liked me there. So at the end, they finally make friends. But the idea is that if we can prove this kind of stuff is made in Grand Rapids, we can bring the industry here. And because Grand Rapids is cheaper to live in, we can have a studio here that still pulls industry work, but for a price that would be the equivalent to the lost film incentives. But on top of that, you can just work a part-time job and have access to do your own work, too, by living in the studio. And that's about it.